You know that feeling when you hear a spiritual idea, maybe from a totally different tradition, and you think, hang on, that sounds a lot like something I've read in the Bible? Well, today, we're diving into a book that's all about that feeling. It's called As Above, So Within by Wanda Pope-Knight, and it makes a really fascinating case for the deep connections between what people call universal spiritual laws and the core truths you find in Scripture.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The book starts with this really powerful invitation. It asks us to consider, what if all the patterns in the universe, the rhythms and cycles you even feel in your own life, what if they aren't random at all? What if they're actually reflecting a divine order that's been there the whole time, just waiting for us to see it?
The entire book is really built around one central, powerful question. It's a question that tries to build a bridge between what many people see as two completely different worlds, these universal spiritual principles and solid biblical faith. And this is it. This is the core mystery the author wants to solve. And it's a question that came from her own journey, this nagging feeling that these so-called universal laws she kept running into felt, well, strangely familiar, like echoes of truths she already knew from her faith. So to even begin to answer that big question, we've got to get on the same page about what these principles even are. I'm sure many of you have heard of them before, but let's do a quick rundown.
So here they are, the 7 universal laws. These are principles that are said to describe the patterns of creation. You often hear them connected with ancient spiritual teachings like Hermeticism, which is all about that esoteric wisdom. They're ideas about how thought, energy, and rhythm literally shape our reality. And the book's big argument is that the reason they might feel so intuitive is because their roots are actually in the Bible.
Now this is what's so interesting. The author makes it super clear right away what this book isn't. This is not about mashing religions together to create some new belief system. Nope. The goal is to trace these principles back to what she says is their original source, the God of the Bible.
So here's the crucial point to get. These laws are not meant to replace the gospel or your faith, not at all. Think of them more like a new set of glasses or lenses that can help us see the incredible wisdom that's already there in Scripture, just maybe from a new angle.
All right, so let's get to the heart of it and see how this whole reimagining thing actually works. How exactly do these big universal concepts find a home in the language of the Bible? Okay, this first one is a perfect example of the pattern. The law of mentalism, this idea that everything, all of creation, starts as a thought, is reframed with this incredibly powerful biblical concept, the invitation to have the mind of Christ. The connection is so clear, isn't it? It's all about aligning our own thoughts with the divine source of all creation. Then you have the law of correspondence, the famous as above, so below. Well, it finds a direct echo in probably the most famous prayer in all of Christianity. It's that idea that our job is to bring the reality of heaven right down into our reality here on earth. And the law of cause and effect. This one is instantly recognizable to anyone who spent time with the Bible. It's not some abstract law of physics, it's the simple, earthy principle of sowing and reaping. It's this powerful reminder that our choices are like seeds, and they will always produce a harvest, whether that's good or bad. But this book goes way beyond just explaining these parallels. It's actually designed to be a really practical tool. It's not just something you read for information. It's something you do for your own spiritual growth. And it's set up to be super flexible. You could treat it like a 7-week devotional journey, or you could use it as a study guide for your small group, or you can just keep it on your nightstand as a personal companion for your own prayer and journaling time. It really fits however you like to learn. And every single chapter follows this exact rhythm. You start with a core scripture, then you dive into understanding the principle, you see it pop up in different Bible stories, and then you get to the practical stuff, concrete practices, prayers, and affirmations. It's a very intentional structure that's really designed to move these ideas from your head into your heart and out through your hands. So, we've seen the parallels, we've seen the practical framework, but what's the whole point? What happens when you start looking at your life and your faith through these lenses? Well, that brings us to the ultimate takeaway, discovering the divine order that's already written into your own story. And, even the number of laws itself is significant. In the Bible, the number 7 pops up all the time to represent divine completion and perfection. Think about the 7 days of creation. It's a little hint that these laws all together form a complete and perfect pattern. And that really gets to the true purpose of this whole thing. It's an invitation to see that God's order isn't just some big cosmic out there concept. It's a pattern that is already woven into your personal story, your everyday life. And seeing that can turn faith from something you just believe in your head to something you actually live and embody.
And that leaves us with this final, powerful thought. Maybe the journey of faith isn't about mastering a set of rules or principles. Maybe it's just about learning to see, to look at the world, and to look at ourselves through new windows that reveal the beautiful, ordered reality God has had in place all along. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What might you see if you looked through a different window today?